Audio and video. Why you gotta be so awkward, bro? Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Perry. With me this week, it's Eric, the whiskey mute.
Hey-o.
He gave me the giggles.
Well, we were just doing like the people who are like, come on, give me a good smile, and they don't know how to smile.
That was my picture right before my very last first day of college. And my caption was like, I'll probably put it up on screen if you're watching the YouTube video version. But the caption was like, we're not leaving until you give us a real smile. And my face was like, and Lucy took the picture.
Nice Frankenstein.
Good stuff. This is a great way to start out an episode. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for checking us out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel or the podcast if you have not done so yet. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button too and the bell notification so you know when new episodes come out, when I go live, when new videos come out. We got some new videos that are dropping here soon, if they haven't already come out too. So unprofessional. My phone's sitting right in front of me, too. It's fine.
Somebody breaking into my house. Like, fuck it. Just throw it away. Not right now.
No,
Don't interrupt the podcast.
We're recording a podcast. It's two white guys with beards and hats.
You know what we're talking about?
Whiskey.
Wrestling. And politics. Somebody already knows when we record, and that's when they decide to rob my house. They're like, he throws his phone behind him in the videos at this exact time at once a week at least.
Hashtag RIP WWE.
Yeah. Freaking Vince.
Anyway, follow us on social media at My Bourbon Pod and at Whiskey Mutant. You can also check out all of our apparel and merchandise at bourbonshop.threadless.com. You can send us questions or comments to thismybourbonshop@gmail.com. You can leave us a voicemail too that we would listen to on the show.
Do we have one?
No.
Oh.
859-428-8253. That's 859-428-8253.
Somebody leave a voicemail of them listening to this podcast.
And we'll play it back, and we'll get a copyright strike on YouTube from our own channel.
Let's see if that works.
Let's find out together. And you can also leave us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app of choice. If it's not on the Apple Podcast app, send me a screenshot of it, because we read those 5-star reviews out on the show. And we also are running a giveaway through the end of January where we are giving away some samples to one.
Just like this one.
Lucky reviewer.
This one's empty, though. It'd be in a bottle
not that sample. Don't give that sample. So, I mean, maybe. That's actually a pretty good sample to give somebody.
What about...
Nope.
This one?
Nope.
I would definitely resist that sample.
Yeah, I could too. So leave us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app of choice. Like I said, if you're not in the U.S. and you're not on the Apple Podcast app, take a screenshot of your 5-star review. Send it to me. We'll put you in the giveaway. We got some new reviews this week. We're going to read them out at the end of the show. And you can also support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month, for as little as $5 a month. There's a bunch of bonus content, a huge backlog of bourbon content. Huge. And some non-bourbon content. That's just...
What?
Is that what the Bengals fans were shouting at your child?
Oh my God. Let's not talk about
that. The game?
Yeah.
I want to talk about it a little bit.
Of course we will.
I mean, surely it's going to come up a little bit during what we've been drinking.
It will.
Yeah.
It will.
Okay. But yeah, we've got so much bonus content over at Patreon. And we're in the middle of a bonus series right now called Mutant Madness. It's preparing me for ADHD Whiskey's March Matt Madness.
March Madness.
March Madness.
March Madness.
Which I'm hoping to be competing in again.
Hope so.
I haven't heard anything. Nobody talks to me anymore.
Maybe he just said, I don't want to do this anymore.
Hey, if that's the case, that's totally fine.
They were sealed. Do you ever figure out why you have those?
Yeah, because I was going to do samples on my live stream last night, and I decided not to. But, I don't... This was a sample from Chris and Lil, and I don't remember what this is. I don't know.
We'll see.
Figure it out.
I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to start the show out this week with Flying Blind.
We are. I've already poured it up. Get that sniffer ready.
My allergies have just been so bad.
Did you know that if you...
Don't. That's for Patreon only. I thought about talking about that on the main episode, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
Actually, if we did that, that would all we get. Actually, you don't know what you're talking about because that works that way.
Well, it's not just that. It's that, I like those people. So
yeah.
I don't want to
No.
I don't want to give. Anyway, doesn't matter. Flying Blind.
Flying Blind.
Figure out what this is.
Tell me what this is, or what you think of it. Oh, it smells pretty good compared to what we had earlier.
It smells really good, actually. A little bit of greenery, a little bit of floralness.
Fatality?
End it now.
Oh, that's good. That real good. I like that. I haven't had it in a while.
Ooh, that is real good.
You want to guess anything about it? You just want to say it's real good and reveal it? What you want to do? Huh? What you want to do?
Oh, it's creamy on the back end, too.
I love a good creamy.
Considering what we're talking about today, is it from this place?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
I was going to say maybe
it could be.
I was going to say it might be a Discovery series.
It could be. We don't know.
Is it a Discovery series?
No.
Is it? So it's sourced?
Yes. Could be. Who's to say?
I don't like this new game.
What?
Could be.
So this
It's infuriating, honestly.
Well, I could just answer that for everything.
I know.
So did you blend this? Could be.
Could be. That's what annoys me so much about it, is it's just so passive.
What's the proof?
I don't think it's incredibly high. I would say 107.
Could be. How old do you think it is?
Just tell me what it is.
Could be. Well,
that's the answer for literally everything.
If you're not on the Patreon, then you may not understand what pours from the floor is. But this is a pour from the floor because I was like, I need to finish this. I got plenty of bottles for pours from the floor, which is a bonus episode you get if you're on the Patreon. So I finished this bottle. Uh-oh. That was my phone that I threw a second ago. It just now landed. It just now hit the floor.
I have been falling for 30 minutes.
Jeez.
Oh,
it's a small batch.
Man.
The E.J. Curley small batch.
It drinks so much higher proof than this.
That bottle.
I love this bottle, man.
Was given to us.
Oh, this was the one that was given to us.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
They gave that to us.
Yeah. And we've solved the mystery of what happened to Curly on Instagram. They're back. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Mystery solved.
It's not the same Instagram account, but they're back, I guess. So I think it's e.j.curly.
They're back, baby.
No, baby. Bada boom, bada bing.
Bada boom, bada bing. We're back.
Whatever the crap I said last.
We're back with whiskey that we won't tell anybody where it's from. So that's why you said, is this Bardstown? I said, it could be.
It could be.
Who's to say?
I don't like Mr. Could Be.
Could be.
He's
Are you dying today, Eric? Could be.
Who's different from Rough and Rowdy Eric?
Oh, that guy?
Remember him last week? Yeah.
This is just the guy
the
who
non-committal
the questions all stuff.
Yeah.
Could be.
But he's optimistic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna win today?
Could be.
Could be.
It doesn't even make grammatical sense.
No.
Mr. Could be.
It could be.
Oh, Mr. Could be actually is turning into my my favorite character.
Could be.
Oh, goodness gracious. Do you have any housekeeping things to talk about? How's the store going? The shop.
Oh, my shop?
Yeah, your shop.
I don't have anything. I gotta get new stuff.
What is the energy we have?
I don't know. My shop's down. I don't have stuff. I did a giveaway on the Instagram that I gave away some items that were left. That was fun. I got Whiskey Mutant Instagram is over 2,000 now. So
nice. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw
broke
that.
I've been on Instagram for 25 years, and I just now broke 2,000.
You were...
Some people are on there for like 20 seconds, and they're like, I already have 32,000 followers.
The podcast Instagram is getting close to 3,000.
Yeah.
So
Andre 3000.
Man, I freaking love Andre 3000.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's one of my favorite musical artists. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll have some new stuff. I'm currently my my funds for stuff is kind of going towards my new little project thing. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. We got new projects on the horizon.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't really have anything else.
Yeah.
I got a new. I did put up a new reel. That's going to be a new series.
Oh, the one that came out yesterday?
Yeah, it's Whiskey Mutant pairs whatever you ask him to.
That was really, really good.
So go to my Instagram and send me a message. Say, I want you to pair this. It can be weird. It can be just crazy. I don't care. I'm going to start doing that like once a week.
Well, this week that the episode comes out, I'm going to be in Louisville on Friday and Saturday evenings playing some shows.
He's back.
I'm back on stage, baby. For the first time.
Bada boom.
For the first time since, and I keep saying like 2018, 2019, it's something like that.
2022.
But I mean like my own set where I'm like playing my
steal some old person's guitar and take over.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I'm going to be at O'Shea's.
Nice.
In Louisville on Baxter Avenue. The show starts at 10 p.m.
Oh, my word.
Goes until 2 a.m.
Oh.
Just like the good old days, man, when I was playing at Cosmic Charlie's in Lexington.
You weren't even 21.
And I was not. That's a fun story that I'm not going to tell on the podcast proper, but I definitely talked about on a pregame chat.
A few times.
But yeah, I'm super excited about it. I don't think there's any like cover charge or anything. It's just a restaurant bar. So if you want to come hang out and listen to some tunes, I've got my own set that I'm playing too. And then I'm going to be sitting in with my buddy Drew Crawley, who has been on the show before as well.
Nice.
So we're gonna do some fun.
You're gonna be
stuff.
back in March, right?
Yeah, I'll be back in March 24th and 25th as well.
I'll try to get down to that one.
Another Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah.
So you can, if you missed the first round, I'll be doing it again
in
a couple of months. So with that being said, what have you been drinking recently?
Well, I had a nice cold Miller Lite the other day
at the
at Cincinnati Bengals Ravens game where I took my son because he is a Ravens fan,
just like Lucy.
Yeah. So we were in enemy territory. I was also wearing my purple because I'm a Bills fan. But for that day, I was a Ravens fan for him, which brings me to the point of Cincinnati. Okay.
High proof hot take.
Early high proof hot takes.
Let's just get it out of the way right now.
Football fans, we're all crazy. Sports fans are crazy, whatever. But man, I took an 11-year-old to a Bengals or Bungles, whatever you want to call them, game. And yeah, the Ravens lost. They weren't playing too good, but they at least stayed in the game a little bit. But the point is, I had people around me, in front of me and behind me, saying the dumbest things to my 11-year-old who was not paying attention. Good. He was enjoying his food and he was enjoying being at an NFL game, but I could hear everything. I mean, at one point somebody said, Daddy must have wasted his money on these tickets. I was like, excuse me? Like,
Huh?
yeah.
That's not even like a dig at your kid. That's just a dig at you, dude.
Well, that's true. The dog's pissed too. We're all pissed about it.
I've been pissed.
They were, somebody was throwing some popcorn down there at him.
Ridiculous.
What'd somebody else say? Somebody else was saying, they're making fun of his hair because he's very particular about his he's got the little boy hair that everybody has now, and it's all this. I don't know. The point is, despite being a diehard football fan, like, you don't have to like push stuff toward kids. You can freaking like trash talk me all day. I don't give a crap. Like, I'm all for it. I love getting into like fun little scuffles with other fans. But it's a kid. It's an 11-year-old. Let him enjoy being at his first NFL game without me constantly hearing stuff like that. Like, this kid should just leave. I'm going to take his seat because we were closer than somebody.
Stupid.
Just stop. And I'm not saying that's everybody, because there were several fans who were talking to us that were, hey, you guys from Baltimore? And like, no, we're actually from Lexington. They're like, what? You're not a Bengals fan? But no, they didn't really say that, because I feel like a lot of people think they're supposed to be Bengals fans because they're close. But you can be a fan of whoever you want. One guy wouldn't let him use the urinal. Because
a kid.
He had to pee, and he was like, Bengals fans only, and stood there for a good little bit until I was like, dude, like, just move. Like, we got to use the bathroom here. I was like, come on, just stop. Luckily, he was so into just being at an NFL game and getting his food and his snacks and watching the players he liked, that he was just in another world. So he didn't
good.
Yeah. It was nothing. I don't want anybody to think that he got his feelings hurt or anything like that, because honestly, he was so into it, he didn't hear things. I was the one on high alert. I was like,
Well, and I mean, not just that, but like, I mean, you're building memories with your son.
Yeah, this is his first NFL game.
You know,
with his favorite team. So, but not to bring I'm trying to bring it back around to the positive stuff. It's nice to have a big old beer sometimes. You know what I mean? I don't even drink beer that often, but when I'm watching like a sports game or I'm outside and it wasn't that cold, and I got a big, like, I got it right at the beginning because I was like, I know I got to drive home and all that, so I'm just going to get one big beer at the beginning. We're going to eat some pizza and wings and all this stuff. And that was probably one of the best Miller Lights I've had in a while, just because, I don't know, I think it was just being there with him, enjoying a football game, eating bad food, and just having a time.
Well, I had a Bud Light the other night when I was at the show that I went to.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about that at some point during the show. But that's the only thing of note. Do you want to have something that you're going to be drinking?
I really haven't had that much. Oh, boy. This guy tried to hide this from me.
And I failed.
And I found it.
I'll get to it in just a second. Explaining what happened here. I went to this. If anybody knows who Tommy Emmanuel is, he's an Australian guitar player. Really great show. I went to see him at the Lexington Opera House this past Wednesday night. Had a lot of Makers.
Ooh.
While I was there. I also had a Bud Light too.
Makers is always my like concert.
Well, it was the
venue pour.
It was the best that they had of it. I mean,
exactly.
Not that like
it's usually the
and I mean, like, they had Beam White Label too, and I thought about it, but I was like, you know what, just sounds really good as Makers.
Plus, you get a little bit higher proof.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. The only other option was like Crown Royal and Jack Daniels.
And still, Jack Daniels isn't bad. I'm not a big Crown Royal fan, but you get more proof with Makers.
Yeah.
So.
But before that, we went to dinner at Pies and Pints.
Oh, I would love some pizza from Pies and Pints.
Dude, it's fantastic. That was my breakfast, actually, was finishing up my last slice
so good
of Pies and Pints. But I had you know how Lexington Brewing or Alltech or whatever does the like canned bourbon and cokes, like, and it's bourbon and cherry coke.
Yeah.
I had a couple of those, and though they are just so daggone good. I mean,
It's hard to beat a bourbon and cherry Coke.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a can or you make it yourself or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Been going through some Elijah Craig picks as well, barrel proof picks. I'm so happy that I've got a bunch of them now, too. Like, it just all of a sudden I accumulated, like, you good?
No, my ear was itching.
Oh, I just accumulated like a bunch of them out of nowhere.
I can still still put earrings in my ears. You know, I used to have plugs.
I can see, dude.
They're like this big at one point. And I could still wear earrings right now. I just thought I'd let you know. Sorry, interrupted your story.
No. It's fine. But anyway.
So what you got? Just show them.
So I'm holding.
Tell them, show them.
I'm holding.
Your number one pick of the year. My number two.
Bum, 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 bum.
Freaking full bottle. Look how dark that thing
Dude,
is.
it's ridiculous. I said it on our best of episode. I had to get a bottle of the Parker's double barreled blend. I couldn't not pick one of these up. Oh, and you pour, dude. What's mine is yours.
I know.
Found a guy who was local and selling one, and I got it at a pretty good price.
Oh, it just smells. It's even on my fingers, and it smells good. I don't smell my fingers very often, but when I do, it's always good. What?
This YouTube channel is set to not made for kids.
Sorry.
Just want to remind everybody of that fact. But yeah, I found it. I found a guy who was selling it on a local group, and I said, I asked if he would take a couple dollars off, and he said because it was that group, he would do it for me. So
that's nice.
I had to make had to pay in installments. But I don't know, man. It's not often that I feel such a like desire to have something like this in my stash.
Well, that's what I did last year.
I know, but I couldn't. I almost went into like a fugue state when I saw it on. I was like, just out of body, going like, I gotta get this. Like, it's just gotta be, And I mean, he immediately said yes, and so I couldn't. I just couldn't say no. So we've now got the Parker's Heritage 16th edition double barrel blend Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Blend of 13 and 15-year-old bourbons. I freaking love the shape of this bottle.
Oh, it's so good.
Also, this is the only Parker's I've ever owned.
The only one I have is the one from last year.
The heavy char wheat?
Oh, was that the year before then?
Heavy char bourbon was the year before.
The bourbon, the blue one.
Because they had that 3 years. It was the heavy char rye, the heavy char bourbon, and then the heavy char wheat
it's
whiskey.
It's the bourbon.
Yeah, the bourbon's incredible.
Yeah, sounds good.
This is just like, and I know I said it on the best of episode. This is just everything I want from a Heaven Hill bourbon. It is so quintessential Heaven Hill.
Yep.
It's so just when I think of bourbon, what I want it to be. I mean, if you were to ask me what are my like top 5 bourbons of all time, this would be in that list.
It's that good.
And I just can't. I couldn't deny it, man. I couldn't deny it.
Ooh, baby.
Dank it. Sank it.
You can let that sit in your mouth and just taste so much flavor before you even swallow it.
It's an anxiety reducer.
I've heard the facts. Oh, that's good. Thanks for sharing that with me.
Hey,
now go lock it up over there.
in a bit.
Don't keep that out.
No, I'm not going to for long. It's just I don't want to get. I just don't want to get up right. Well, that's the thing too. Is that it's like when you get a new toy, or when you got a new toy as a kid, and you're just like, I only want to play with this, and I only want to take it around. It's your new Dragon Ball Z action figure. You know.
You set it on the spot that's right in front of everybody, and you're like, I'm just gonna look at this for a while.
I still have at mom and dad's all of my Dragon Ball Z guys.
You should get them.
I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna bring them here.
We should play with them on the show.
We should start doing.
I'll bring mine that are
motion,
out of the packages and stuff. So.
Start doing stop motion animation. Dragon Ball Z.
We thought about doing a whole bonus episode where it was just our Funko Pops doing the episode.
I think we're still talking about doing that, aren't we?
God, yeah, but it's so much work.
I mean, basically, all we have to do is just record the audio.
Yeah, we got to have them move around and do stuff.
No, they will, but like they can be like static images.
No, like they have to move.
Oh, okay, that's too much.
They have to look like the Rudolph special.
Look like Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Man, I love that movie.
It's amazing.
It's
so
fantastic.
Good. It is. You cussing at me? You cussing at me?
This whole thing is just one big cluster cuss.
You cussing at me?
Are you cussing at me?
Cussing at me?
You cussing at me?
I am a wild animal.
Great movie. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Really
tips and bits.
One of Wes Anderson's best. So this week, we got a very special pour.
We do.
That we're going to be reviewing. But before we get to it, I wanted us to take some time to talk about the Bardstown Bourbon Company and our myriad of experiences with them that we have had.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is a pretty common notion anymore, but I really do think that the experience at Bardstown Bourbon Company is the best, most well-rounded experience that you can have on the bourbon trail as a whole.
Yeah.
I think it is the best place.
God, it's
if
so
you
good.
had to pick one place to go to, and you get the entire scope of the history of bourbon, the availability of pours that they have too, even with their vintage library.
Yeah.
Everything is just right there for you.
Okay.
The best food on the bourbon trail by far. The most like kind of upscale environment too. I mean, people have called it the Napa Valley of Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know, I just, and that's what they intended to do originally as well when David Mandel set out to build the company. And if you want to go back to, there was an episode within the first 100 where I went to Bardstown Bourbon Company, and it's one of my favorite episodes purely just because of the story of it. And we'll talk about some of that in a minute. But where I got to sit down and chat with Steve Nally, who is the master distiller there, David Mandel, the founder, who's not really with the company any longer. I think he serves as like on the executive board.
Yeah,
but
I think he's
not
still on the board or something like that.
And just a myriad of other people. Myriad is the word of the day, apparently, because I've now used it twice in this diatribe.
In the what?
Diatribe.
What is that?
It's basically like a monologue.
Oh. You got so many good words.
I'm
a very simple worded person.
I was
the yin and the yang
I
of
was
words.
an English major for a while.
I can barely speak English.
I wanted to be a teacher.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I would have been a great teacher, man.
I know you would have been.
I still think I could be a great teacher.
You're teaching me all the time.
There you go.
And I would be like the older like adult student in your class that you got to be really patient with. They don't understand like how to get on like Zoom or something.
Well, I'm talking about like high school.
Oh, I'd be the dropout that comes back.
You'd be in the GED class that I teach on nights and weekends.
It'd be like a movie where the adult goes back to high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'd be the teacher. And we party
A
together.
Goofy movie too.
Yeah. 3.
But just that one experience alone kind of set the tone for like how I viewed Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Yeah.
And even though like there has been some changing of the guard since then, it still, I think, holds that same weight of being a real destination place for bourbon lovers. You were there not too long ago.
I was there
too.
on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
I love Bardstown Bourbon Company. If you just say, where's the one place you've been to most in Bardstown, it would be Bardstown Bourbon Company, because
Mammy's Kitchen.
Oh my God,
Heaven Hill, Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Yeah, I've been at Bardstown Bourbon Company probably more now than I have Willett or Mammy's or Heaven Hill. But talking about Bardstown Bourbon Company, they are also one of my wife's favorite places to go.
Yeah, same here. Lucy loves going there.
She loves it. If there's ever a time where we are like, we're going to go out on a date in a couple weeks because we got to plan it over kids stuff and all that. It usually ends up being, we're going to go to Bardstown. And we go to Bardstown Bourbon Company. She loves the old fashions there. They always have a barrel aged old fashioned at the bar. And what we like to do is we get our reservation, but we go about an hour early. We go to the bar, grab an old fashioned or two, and we sit at the couch and we just get some time to just chill and talk. We don't want to go to our seat yet. They're like, oh, you're here early. They're so nice. They're like, we'll go ahead and try to seat you. And they're like, no, we'll come back to the front at our reservation time. We want to go sit at the couch, just chill.
Yeah.
It's such a good spot to chill inside. It's such a good spot to chill outside. And the food is amazing. And you're just surrounded by everything bourbon. The whiskey library they have, we went there for my birthday. I got to try my birth year, like early times and stuff. That was great. Yeah. But even going back, like thinking about the company as a whole and the area as a whole, I've done their normal tour with friends from out of town. We went there and they loved it. You go through the tour and you see how they make everything. You get to do the whole, like, take your finger in the mash and all this stuff. It's a great tour for somebody who's learning about it. I've done the tour where you get to go into the rick houses and take samples out and like try samples out of the barrel. An amazing thing for people who are just bourbon nerds who have done everything. You get to go do that.
Yeah.
And then we've just went to just sit and have food. Like, we've gone back so many times and I love going there every time. And not to mention, they always have great things in their gift shop. Mm-hmm. So a lot of places, you never know what they're going to have in the gift shop. They could have the same thing. They could have nothing. You're going to get a Bardstown Bourbon Company product, or you may get something special if they've got like a collab going on or something like that. And then just not to mention that we've literally grew up bourbon-wise with this company.
Oh, 100%.
We've had the first stuff they've had to now. I mean, spoiler alert, we're going to review their 6-year wheated bourbon. That's all their own distillate.
It's crazy. Bottled and bond.
Bottled and bond. We're here now. Now we have Bardstown Bourbon Company products that are just theirs. It's not the blends, the discoveries, and all that.
When I first caught wind of Bardstown Bourbon Company, I think they had been around for roughly 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. And, they were putting out, or they were about to put out, actually, their first run of the collaboration series. Or excuse me, the Fusion series. They had done collaboration already, and it was in that, like, there is a collaboration now that they do, but it's in the standard Bardstown Bourbon Company bottle.
Yeah.
But back then,
it was that square bottle.
It was that horrible,
could not square
fit
bottle
properly on any shelf, square bottle that just, like, it looked cool in and of itself, but the practicality of it was like, well, I can't fit this anywhere.
And it was expensive.
Yeah. But it was like, I can't fit this anywhere unless all I have are these bottles.
Yeah. It stuck out for sure.
And so they were kind of trying to establish who they were and make a name for themselves and everything. And I was very honored that when I asked them if I could come and do interviews there, they were so gracious and they were so hospitable to everything. Every ounce of attention during that day was so well catered. And there was never a point where I felt like I couldn't ask a question and the answer wouldn't be yes.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't go into the vintage library.
I've never been in. I've only got the menu and you can order off of it.
I'll tell a story about the vintage library in a minute. But, at that point, it was basically just like a utility closet that they hadn't done anything with. And now it's in like this gorgeous space, just a really, really beautiful room. But so I walk in to Bardstown Bourbon Company. They weren't. I don't think they were quite open at the time to the.
I don't think the kitchen or anything.
Well, it was, but I think when I got there, like they weren't open yet, and so I had just kind of the lay of the land.
Yeah.
Right. David says, "We'll set you up over here. I'm going to chat with you. We're going to have Danny, who's our head of."
Oh, Danny Bardstown.
Yeah.
That dude rules because he seems to remember me if I see him and he's there because I'm not trying to like flex or anything. My friend Tom is Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
And he's friends with Danny. Danny sends in bottles and stuff like that, but he's always kind of like Corbin's friend or something like that. I'm like, yeah. And then he just goes on. I was like, that made me feel good.
So he said Danny's going to come sit with us. There was another Dan that was on the board at the time too. He was like, Steve is going to come sit with us. Steve Nally, who was the master distiller at Maker's Mark too. Had been in the business for
I don't know if you ever heard of that guy,
decades,
that brand or anything.
Yeah,
like
right. Yeah. John Hargrove was still there too. John is still to this day one of my favorite people. He just is so kind and generous and energetic about showing people his love for the industry. Yeah. But David goes, Steve's going to be down here in a minute. He's finishing up a meeting. I just like I can't put into words the way that my brain started to do backflips as he was saying this. But he goes, the former master distiller of Four Roses, Jim Rutledge.
Oh my.
Steve's finishing up a meeting with Jim Rutledge. And I was like, Jim Rutledge is here right now. He's in the same building as I am right now, right this second, right as I am standing here with you. I go, do you think we can get him on the podcast too?
Of course, you better. You're already here. You better.
David goes, yeah, we'll see what we can do. I had the most diverse round table panel of bourbon creators that I could have ever dreamt of. 2 legacy master distillers, a guy who is not necessarily new to the business, but still establishing himself in John Hargrove. You have a man who has come in to this scenario with the mindset of wanting to make Kentucky into the next Napa Valley, Bardstown into the next wine country. And his team of people that are just like there for it. I mean, just there for it and excited about sharing what they were doing. And freaking Jim Rutledge is just sitting there too. I was like, I had to do this like mental gymnastics too when I found out that he was there and that he was going to be a part of that episode of like, what the crap am I going to ask this guy
You just
about?
fumble like me and just go, what's your favorite snack?
No, I don't remember exactly what I said. It's been a long time since I've gone and listened to anything from that episode.
We'll go back to it. You know what number it is?
Ooh, I want to say, it might even be in the 30s.
Go back.
It's a pretty early episode
Finish this one. Go listen to
of
that
the
one.
show. So yeah, definitely go back and listen to that. You get a very good feel of like who Bardstown Bourbon Company is, how their ethos has been very consistent too since they started. Extremely hospitable too. They just kept bringing like cocktails. We had like one of everything on their appetizer menu too. We were just passing small plates around and whatnot. It was magical, man.
I had their macaroni and cheese for appetizer. They have an macaroni and cheese app. It's so good.
In the cast iron, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's
The Brussels sprouts are amazing.
the Brussels sprouts are legit. I felt so bad. So
I just want to go pair. Bardstown, let me come. I just want to pair everything that you have. Your whole menu.
Are we going to try to do that with Becky?
Well, yeah. I'll never leave.
So in 2020, we hadn't done a whole lot. Things were kind of like starting to open up a little bit more and everything. Lucy was pregnant, but she was like, I still want to do something for your birthday. So in August of that year, we went to Bardstown and she took me to a few distilleries and we had lunch or dinner at Bardstown Bourbon Company. And I felt so bad because she was so excited for the Brussels sprouts. Because that's like one of our favorite side dishes too.
Yeah.
When you do them right, they're just
Amazing.
fabulous.
Yeah.
But it was made with like a soft cheese that she couldn't have while she was pregnant.
Oh, no.
And I just was like, I'm so sorry. Like I think I might have even like still eaten them.
You better. You're a good husband. You can't let food go to waste.
Yeah, exactly.
You're paying for it.
Yeah. Well,
She was paying for it. Okay, well, you got to eat it.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad for that.
But it was definitely one of those places that was a
you made her
destination.
pregnant, so you feel. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
I did do that.
So
Yeah.
partly your fault.
But aside from all that, and I could talk about too the experience that I had with going to the first collaboration release too, when they partnered with I can't remember the name of the winery out in California.
Oh yeah, the one is that the God that they had it came with like a box and everything, didn't it?
Yeah, but I mean
Pfeiffer Pivot.
Pfeiffer Pavot.
Pfeiffer Pivot, whatever it's called. Look, and I looked up candles that somebody made out of the bottles.
Of all the dumb ways for us to figure out how that was genius.
That was the picture though.
Anyway, yeah, the Pfeiffer Pavot Reserve. They had a whole like release event, launch event, everything where I was invited because I'd done the thing with the podcast with them before, and it was like an all-day experience.
That sounds amazing.
Where we got to try Fusion and Discovery before it ever got released. Of course, that Pfeiffer Pavot wine finished bourbon we got to try before it was released. John took me to the bourbon or the vintage whiskey library too, and was like, "What do you want to try?"
What'd you try?
I tried the oldest whiskey that they had in their collection from the late 1800s.
Damn, how was that?
Unbelievable.
Was it?
It was really good. It was different. It wasn't like, it's not modern bourbon. I mean, it was its own thing.
Barry goes in, he's like, I'll take that 2014 Elijah Craig Barrel.
Yeah, right. But it was one of those things where it was like $2,000 pour for like an ounce. And so he gave me half an ounce and he gave Lucy half an ounce. Lucy was with me for all this, by the way, too.
Was she pregnant at the time?
No.
Oh yeah, that's not a different time.
No.
I was like, you got 2 ports.
No. I mean, I essentially did because she took like a sip of it and was like, I don't like this.
Right. Hand it over.
Like, I'll drink as much extremely vintage whiskey as I can.
That's awesome.
But then there was like a whole dinner that night too, and it was like a 5-course meal or something. And they had everything paired with like wines and bourbons and whatnot. And it was the first like moment where I was like, I have made it with the podcast. Like, I'm doing something that feels.
You were invited to do this huge event because of your podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So aside from all that, aside from like the hospitality side of things, we of course have to talk about the bourbon, the whiskey that they make. And when I went to that media preview release thing where they showed off the Pfeiffer Pavitt and they had us trying Fusion and Discovery. And I might have even put this up on Patreon at some point, way, way back in the day, where there was a point where we were talking about, like, what is the future of Fusion? What is the future of Discovery?
Yeah.
Especially considering the fact that, you know, we knew that eventually there was going to be the Origin series. Not necessarily in that, like, explicit of terms. Like, we didn't know the name of it or anything.
Yeah.
But we just knew that eventually there was going to be Bardstown Bourbon Company Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey on the market. And, you know, I was so interested in, like, what that meant for that product line. And I asked them about it, and they said, well, this is still going to continue. Like, we're still curious what we can do with our whiskey in conjunction with other people.
Yeah.
And that is still, I think, one of their mission statements that they have maintained. Sorry, the baby's crying. That they have maintained since they were founded, because they, you know, they're not just doing stuff for themselves. They are contract distillers. They allow other places to source from them. I mean, they're always working with, I mean, you go to their gift shop and you see Kentucky Owl and Pursuit United.
Yeah.
Right next
That's
to
what I'm
them.
saying. Like, yeah,
like it's crazy to see all the brands that they have touched, for lack of a better word, and that they work with, and it's just wild because it's like that. They're almost like the most public version of the mafia in bourbon. You know what I mean?
Great. That's a great.
They have a good, like, stronghold over the industry, but the thing is, like,
you want to make a good bourbon, you come to me.
Come to me on the day of my first bourbon release.
You come to me for this bourbon. We'll make it.
But you know what I'm saying, though. Like, they are so involved in everything that is bourbon related, and they do it so exceptionally well that people have taken notice. And they are consistently in the conversation of the current best bourbon distilleries, bourbon makers that are on the market. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't know exactly what their bourbon tastes like on its own volition,
you probably had
spoiler
something.
alert, it's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not had anything from Bardstown Bourbon Company where I've had a second thought or gone, I don't know if I can, you know, deal with this pour.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't had second thoughts about it, I guess is what I'm saying. And yeah, you probably have had something that they have made and you just didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So
they rule.
They're absolutely fantastic. I highly, highly recommend going and checking them out. I have not done that Rick House straight from the barrel tour yet. I'm going to see if I can just, you know, get the podcast in there.
Yeah, please.
Sorry, Bardstown, but you guys know what's up. But I mean, I do want to see what that experience is about. And, you know, I have this idea, and I'll probably wind up implementing it in some form or fashion eventually, but taking a year and doing a whole, like, we visit all of the distilleries on the Bourbon Trail. We do like their experience, and we talk with their owners, their master distillers, whomever, and have that just be like the definitive, this is my bourbon podcast guide to the Bourbon Trail.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
All right, cool.
Can I be on the podcast?
You're on the podcast, bro.
Can I be a part of this?
Can I be your co-host, please?
Can I be on that? That sounds really fun.
Absolutely.
No, but seriously, like that would be awesome.
No, I've been wanting to do that for a while, and I just haven't had the chance to like sit down and kind of map all that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's something I want to do, and Bardstown Bourbon Company is definitely within that conversation as well. They're just one of the top distilleries right now.
Where's that award thing at? Let's give them an award right now.
Just before we've even tried.
No, yeah, just them. Just
anything.
The distillery award. You rule, Bardstown Bourbon Company.
BBC, you're the best.
Look at that. You got to like,
what?
For the main thing, we got.
What'd I do?
I just.
Oh.
Okay, let's try that again.
BBCo.
You rule.
You're the best.
Yes. So we might as well review
I think it's time, don't you?
something from Bardstown Bourbon Company. And it's a
Yes.
new product.
It's brand spanking new. This
Just
bad boy
spanked
can
it.
hold so much Bardstown Bourbon Company
It
bourbon.
can. It can hold 750 mLs of it. This is Bardstown Bourbon Company Origin Series, bottled in bond. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
And you said this is their wheated distillate?
Origin, Bardstown Bourbon Company. Age, 6 years. Mash bill, 68% corn, 20% wheat, 12% malted barley. Distilled fall 2016.
I had just gotten married a few months before that. Oh.
Bardstown.
USA.
America.
It's bourbon night. Hello, I'm Chad.
I'm Eric.
Eric, what do we have on the table in front of us today?
Bardstown Bourbon Company Origin Series. Is that what we have? I'm so confused right now.
You do an episode of It's Bourbon Night, but
I just mess everything up.
nobody addresses the fact that you're not Sarah.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what's happening right
That's
now.
part of my Whiskey Tube Implodes video idea.
I don't know what's going on.
I am so freaking excited for this. I've had their distillate on its own before, of course. Not in this capacity, though. And here's the thing, too. I know that I have some preconceived notions about Bardstown Bourbon Company. I'm trying my best not to let that affect the way that I approach this, but I have such undying, I can't help but just have faith in the people who made this.
Yeah.
That this is going to be a great bourbon.
Gotta have faith. Oh, that smells good.
It smells like Bardstown Bourbon Company.
It does.
Smells like going to the distillery.
There's oaky, but there's like kitchen. There's like somebody's cooking in the kitchen.
It's aromatic.
Orange, a little bit of orange. Like orange creamsicle. But savory. You know what I mean?
A lot of cinnamon too, like cinnamon sugar.
Yeah.
It reads a lot to me like a snickerdoodle. I would have trouble.
Snickerdoodle with a little bit of that like orange drizzle.
Orange peel. Yeah.
Mm.
I like that idea. I mean, you sip all you want. I'm still talking.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Need to.
But I would have a hard time just based on the nose, not thinking that this was a Heaven Hill product.
Oh.
You talk about it. I'm going to drink a little about it.
it, a lot of those notes come out. It's savory, but there is a orange bundt cake, like a creamsicle bundt cake thing with like sherbet. Oh my God, dude. So good. Oh, so good.
That is so solid.
I'm already wanting to get another one just to have.
A 6-year-old bottled in bond with that level of depth of flavor in a wheated bourbon, nonetheless.
And I've said this before. I think wheated bourbon is a little harder to make good.
It is. It is 100% harder to.
And
to
they
work
hit
with.
it out of the park. This is sherbet and orange creamsicle. The finish is just so good.
The finish is
For 100 proof bourbon.
I know I said this on the WLW last week, but the finish is like infinite.
I mean, it's like whoosh, just.
Dude.
Even going back to the second time.
It's the best new bourbon I've had in 2023.
That is true.
We haven't.
Dude, there is almost like a, you know, when you have like a derby pie and you get kind of like that savory, like they put the nuts on the top, but then you get like the sweet.
This is what I was talking about when I was doing that pairing with the coconut macaroon that was in the Holly Hill Inn box with the Elijah Craig barrel proof. This is the coconut derby pie that I was talking about.
It is a little like tropical, orangey and coconutty and like, but savory. Oh my. That is really good.
The monetization required on YouTube changed? Come on, YouTube.
What does that mean?
It's just going to make it harder for me to make money on YouTube. It was
Well,
already difficult, and now it's like,
You have to do something crazy.
I guess. I don't know. But yes, this is like that coconut derby pie. 100% of the way through. It's so viscous.
Yeah.
I can't get over...
even the glass is like, it coats the
Yeah.
glass. There's legs, whatever you call them. There's a little,
But
she
like
got
compared
legs.
to the mouthfeel of the Parkers that we just had, they're not dissimilar.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they still have that oiliness to them.
Yeah.
That just is like, I want to sit with this. I want to let this like be my breath for a while.
Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely...
Do you ever get that? You're like, I wouldn't mind if my breath smelled like this for a little bit.
I would love that because I love the smell of this. Like, oh my gosh, it smells way older than 6 years too. But it plays with you because it's like, oh, this is something you want to sit with and enjoy for a while. But at the same time, I want to crush this. I want to pour I want to just pour it again. So it's like there's a battle going on.
I can. Dang it! Sorry, I have thoughts, but I'm already thinking about like having this with a cigar.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, I want an orange creamsicle bundt cake with this.
We talked about this last year. We need to do it this year. When it warms up, we're gonna roll up the garage door and sit outside and record an episode and smoke cigars.
See me not smoke a cigar the right way. Smoke it like a cigarette.
Yeah,
because that's what I would do. Because I've had maybe a handful of cigars in my time.
We'll do a practice run beforehand.
I don't think I ever did it the right way. I'm more of a menthol guy.
I haven't had a cigar in so long. It sounds so good, especially now that it's cold. It's like I just want it to warm me up a little bit, but I don't have any indoor place.
Pour a little sample of this. You can go out on your back deck tonight and have you a little cigar in this.
Well, it's gonna be a little cold.
Well, put a jacket on. Toughen up.
Okay,
Man, this is good.
This is really, really good. What's the price? $60?
$49.99.
$49.99.
I walked out of this in the gift shop. Yes, this is my bottle. And it was like $52. Something like that. So yeah. Depending on where you're at, I guess, but I think $49.99 is what they're saying.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I'm going to be 100% honest. Like, I love Bardstown Bourbon Company stuff, and I want more of it. But, you know, Discovery and stuff, it's kind of pricey. I mean,
for sure.
It jumps up to the 120s, 150s, and those collabs are the same. And I want them all, but I can't afford them all. This, I'm buying more of this. I want another bottle already just to have.
I need one.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't think it's perfect. I think it's very, very close to it. This is going to be a high score for me, but I'm not drinking this and in the same way that I kind of did last year with the Wilderness Trail and the Parkers going, this is just the perfect bourbon.
No, I think this is a good, like, this is 6 years old. Imagine what that 10-year-old
Oh, yeah.
going to be.
Oh, yeah.
What that 8 years going to be.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Wilderness Trail was. It's like,
exactly.
We're loving the 4 and the 5-year-old stuff. Imagine that thing. And like, I can't wait till they're like, here's our, if they put out an 8-year-old and stuff. Like, yeah, it's not going to be your, like, one and done, like this is the greatest thing ever. But I don't think I don't think that's what it's meant to either. I think this is meant to be on your shelf at all times, and it's meant to make a cocktail with. It's meant to drink neat. It's meant to just have all you want. Where are you going?
Well, I want to see. Oh, no. Everything's fine.
Are we going to do a side-by-side right now?
I think we should, don't you?
Might as well. I mean, this is a bourbon podcast. Do you want to hear a review from somebody other than us?
Oh, yeah.
I have one.
I forgot about that.
So I reached out to my neighbor who he dabbles in bourbon, but one of his and his wife's biggest love is wine. Mm-hmm. Has his own little wine thing over there. So I have some bourbon with him every once in a while, but his wine collection is impressive. So I took a little bit over to him when I opened it to bring over. And why did I try to call myself? So my neighbor Corey, I want to tell you what he has to say about Bardstown Bourbon Company Orton Series. Smells sweet. So I think we're on the money there. Mm-hmm. As soon as we started talking about this, like he said, it smells and it tastes like it has orange in it, and there's no burn. He said no burn. And then then some brown sugar comes through.
Yeah.
He said, as a wine person, he said it reminds him of a Greek Sauv Pinot, I don't know what it is. I didn't really. Pinot, a Greek one. He said there's Greek Pinots have orange in it and stuff.
Interesting.
So he gets a lot of orange on this.
I need to try some Greek wine then.
He said just based on what he knows about bourbon and the bottles he has and the wine and everything, he would pay $60 for this.
Yeah.
So he's kind of right around like the money there. Like,
I was anticipating, I mean, like I said, I was anticipating it being $60, and I was like mentally preparing myself for how that was going to affect my score. The fact that it's 50.
Yeah, after tax, it was like 52 something at the distillery.
I mean, the Wilderness Trail, dude.
It's good. I will say, just off the nose, the Wilderness Trail definitely smells older. That 2 years is a big difference in this. Oh.
Dang.
This ain't a Wilderness Trail episode. I'm sorry. But
Sorry, but it's something
good.
that we do have to do. I would be questioning that if I didn't try them side by side.
Yeah, they are two of our favorite pours, our favorite places, distilleries. I guess. Sorry, not pours, distilleries. They're still, as far as like newness goes, they're still some of the younger guys in the bourbon thing.
Oh, yeah.
And one's got an 8-year product out. That's their own stuff. And one's got a 6-year. When you got to do it. I mean, that Wilderness Trail 8 years just.
I do think that it tastes and smells older than the Bardstown Bourbon Company. But there are parts of the Bardstown Bourbon Company that I like or even find that I'm missing. Like better than or find that I'm missing in the Wilderness Trail.
I think it's that.
And vice versa.
Yeah. I think it's that the Bardstown has got this sherbet orange creamsicle thing that just pops. And then the Wilderness Trail is more of that like French toasty, like syrupy note. You know what I mean? So it's kind of what you're in the mood for. The fact that we
I'm in the mood for both of these all the time.
Yeah. The fact that we have two distilleries that are kind of our distilleries, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I know exactly what you mean.
I feel like they're like our thing because we've saw them start and we've kind of went with them as they've got older, as opposed to a Heaven Hill or a Wild Turkey that we love. But, like, they've been around forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is kind of our thing. Kind of like a New Riff. Like, you know, Ian's got New Riff. Oh, we love New Riff. But it's almost like you appreciate it a little bit more. It's like, these are my guys, right?
Oh,
here.
Yeah, for sure. I can't give this a perfect score.
Sorry. It wasn't because you said that. It was because I literally
he got pissed at me very quickly.
Like no, it's not a perfect score. But
the Wilderness Trail, I think, still.
Oh, I mean that was my number one.
Yeah. Now, is there a good chance that the Bardstown will wind up in our top 10 this year?
Heck yeah,
absolutely.
As of right now, definitely in my top 10.
I mean, yeah, right. This is number one of the new things we tried this year. But I can't ignore the fact that this is just an exceptional bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I would expect nothing less from these guys. I think that
I think the fact that they
do a good job of living up to expectations.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting there.
No. It's
but I'm still focused on when you said that they waited till they knew that this was the right time to put out. They could have said, let's put it out at 4 years. You know, bottle and bond 4 years. We've seen some other distilleries put stuff out at 4 years that probably shouldn't have been put out. But they waited. They waited 2 years. They did the right thing. And I greatly appreciate that.
Well, it's not like Bardstown was, aching for income either.
No, but
I mean,
still.
they were making plenty of capital while they were waiting for this to come out. So,
but still, you probably get excited when your own product is close to coming out.
But I think too, it's like I would imagine, I have no experience, of course, like creating my own whiskey, but I would imagine that you take pride and care in and of it in the same way that you do like your kid.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that they're well looked after. You want to make sure that they have everything set.
You want to make sure when you send them out to these stores that people aren't going to just tear them apart. You want them to be,
I don't want them to go to kindergarten and,
get made fun of.
Not know the wrong words for things.
People here,
There's a really good Steve Martin bit about that.
If your kids are cussing, you want them to cuss the right way. You don't want them to look stupid.
No, honey. It's
no, those two words don't go together. Say it like this.
Anyway, nose, palate, finish, and price are the categories that are in our review system here on the podcast. All categories are out of 5. We give a final score out of 20. Multiply it by 5 if you want to know. Or 4. 5? 5.
I don't know, man.
If you want to know what the score out of 100 would be. On the nose.
The nose. The nosy.
I could use a little bit more brightness or a little bit more balance on it. I think it leans a little bit darker than I would have liked, but everything that is there I very much enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 4.
I think I'm a 4 too. I was going 4 to 4.5. Like, I love the creamsicle. I think the notes I like come out more on the palate, which I'm just going to say 4.5 on the palate for me. I love the nose, but man, there's something that hits me on that palate. Yeah. I think the palate could have a little bit more depth. Like a little bit more, it's viscous, but it could be like when you're looking at that perfect score or something, you're wanting that to like spread across all your taste buds. You know what I mean?
Yes. And for everything that you said, and I agree with, I'm giving it a 4.
Okay.
Everything that I like about the nose, I agree with you, does present itself more on the palate, but there are parts of it where I'm still like, well, there's this or that or, whatever that could be more attuned to my tastes.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that, if I start to think about like the difference between a 4 and a 5, it actually is a lot larger than I think we kind of give it credit for at times.
Yeah.
Because 4 is like exceptional. I love so much about this, but there's like 1 or 2 things that I might change. But a 5 is like, there's nothing that I would change about
the path
this.
between a 4 and a 5 is much larger than a path between a 3 and a 4.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got to go a little bit more to get to that 5.
And I think that's why, like, we tend to, on the palate, go with half scores.
Yeah.
With a 2.5 or a 3.5. Because it's easier to kind of fall in the middle between a 3 and a 4 or a 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
But between a 4 and a 5, I struggle so hard with, like, what else do I need from this? And I think that's like, that's where I am coming from.
Yeah.
With this for sure. Exceptional. I think everybody should try this if you're a bourbon drinker. But the best part of it all for me is the finish.
Yeah.
And that's where I give it a 5.
Damn. You stole my score. Jesus.
Well, I didn't do it intentionally.
Gave it a 5 because it's not too often that you get flavors on the finish, but then the finish also stays with you.
Yeah.
Like
the finish is what I would want the palate to be that would then also bump it up to a 5.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like you get all the notes, you get more notes on the finish, but then it like, I feel this like that warm Kentucky hug, as people like to say. I almost feel it down in my belly. You know
for sure.
Like sometimes I just get about right the mid chest.
Yeah.
We talk about mid palate. Dixon's always talking about side palate, mid palate. I'm talking about the chest right now. My chesticles. Like right, it goes past that down into my belly, man. Like it does. It lasts forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still feel it. I mean, it still feels like that, just that, like you're cold and you drink hot chocolate and it just warms you up from the inside out. And like, you just feel safe and you feel comfortable and you don't feel like you're missing anything.
Yeah. And you have some Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
Like that. Do you remember that commercial
where he melts the little snowman? Melts
yeah.
Just like that.
Did that freak you out?
Kind of. I thought he was Jack Frost. I thought he was Jack Frost. I thought he was a killer.
That's a completely different
He's a
conversation.
killer snowman. He came in, now he's a kid again.
Price at $50.
$5.
Absolutely a
$5.
Absolutely a $5. It's one thing to and we can talk all day about the fact that there are places like not Bardstown Bourbon Company, Heaven Hill, that have these very available budget bottled and bond bourbons that they're remarkable. They're so good. But at the end of the day, they're budget for a reason.
Yeah. There's some of them are thin. Some of them don't have no finish.
Exactly.
But you know what you're getting them for.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? This is a bottled and bond
this is a cared for, well-crafted, attention paid to, you want to take it home to meet your parents.
Yeah.
Bottled and bond.
And then you want to wait till they're asleep and you want to go to your bedroom
100%.
and get intimate with
100%.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to be a little quiet. And then you may have to sneak out the window.
Let's move on to something else. I don't want to talk about this right now.
And I'm just taking this bottle out the window. I'm going home. I want it so bad.
It's just I think that it does still fall under like the value category too, you know.
But it doesn't have to.
No,
That's
it doesn't. It doesn't have to. You're right, but there is still a good value behind this, especially if you were talking about the $10 per year method.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically, it's, after tax, close to $60.
Sure, but even still, like at market value, it's below.
That's why I say, like, that was a good thing. Like, it could be, because they could have easily went, let's put this closer to Discovery or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's got all the trigger stuff. Like, they got the age, 6 years. They got bottled and bond on it. Like
weeded too, even
weeded. Like that's like the recipe for, hey, we can make this very limited and very expensive, and we know that it will sell. But they didn't. So 18.5 for me.
18. You know what's funny too, though, is I think that I've been doing this for long enough that I kind of know after a sip or two what my score is going to be.
Yeah, you could just be like, this is close to a 15 to 17 or something like that.
And I mean, I had this, and I just immediately was like, this is an 18. When you know, you know. And if you know, shut up.
You hate that saying.
I hate that saying so much.
There's sometimes when I want to do
gatekeeping.
I want to do a post, and I'm like an anime post, and I just want to say, if you know, you know. But then I know if Perry sees it, he's gonna get mad at me. So that's why I've not used if you know, you know very often, because I know how much you hate it.
IYKYK.
You literally control what I post. Because I'm like, I don't want Perry to be mad at me for using this.
Do it and see what happens.
I don't want to. That's the scariest I've ever heard you be. I've been with you for years now.
I know, right?
Before the podcast, on the podcast. That's the scariest thing I've ever heard you say.
That's the scariest thing I've ever said.
I'm kind of nervous right now.
You should be.
Who are you?
You
can't have any more of this.
I'm Spooky Perry.
No, you're scary, Perry. There's nothing
Scary.
Spooky is fun. Scary is mean. I can say the worst things ever, and it mean nothing. But when you say one thing that's kind of like
annoying,
no, on the edge or like serious like that, it freaks me out a little bit.
Well, mess around and see what happens.
I'm so uncomfortable right now.
You should be.
You could be.
Can't be.
Stop. I don't like this. I don't like this, Perry. Jeez.
High proof hot takes.
Scary Perry. That's my high proof hot take.
He
you
sucks.
being scary.
High proof Perry. Scary Perry sucks.
Oh gosh. High proof hot takes. I already said, don't be mean to kids at football games.
Our Instagram followers are going to be so confused in a couple of days.
They're going to be so confused. But yeah, have fun. If you're an adult, you can trash talk people all you want. But as an adult, don't try to make comments to kids. Just don't.
Yeah.
Because more than likely, you're going to piss the parent off and they're going to kick your ass.
Were you going to do that?
I almost did.
I don't blame you.
Well, but then you have to set the example. You don't want your kid to have to leave the game that he's at because his dad got kicked out. So meet me in the parking lot, bitch. I didn't say that because then I had to take my kid to that same parking lot and then I had to drive home and it would have been a mess. I go to Cincinnati Bengals game by myself. They play the Bills or something again.
Talk to me again that way.
This is really good. I can't hold it together. Scary Perry has got me tore up right now.
You good?
I'm good, bro.
Are you sure?
I'm good.
I guess I am too. You got any tips and bits?
I got a couple.
Okay.
You got to go first, though.
Oh, I got to go first.
Yeah.
No, you got to go first.
Okay. One of my favorite comedians, podcasters, Andrew Santino, just put out his new special on Netflix called Cheeseburger. And it's about an hour-long stand-up special. And highly recommend whether you've followed him before. It's just a good 48 to 50 minutes, something like that, special. And he's so funny, and you have to watch it. I don't know if he's going to put it out just audio, but his movements and some of the impressions he does, you just have to see.
Yeah.
Andrew Santino Cheeseburger, and he says one thing, and
Mr. Whiskey Ginger.
Whiskey Ginger interviews other comedians and actors, and they drink a little whiskey while they do it. They don't really do reviews or anything, but love it. Love that podcast. But he said, and I'm like, why do they call this Cheeseburger? You know, a lot of specials, they'll take something from it, and that's you find out. And he says something in it that I kid you not, I was sitting there. I got off work. I didn't have to work the next night. Nobody was home, and I just had a little pour, and I watched this, and he said something that I kind of paused it. I paused it for a second, and I said, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And he says, I'm not trying to, he goes into something, I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit, but he goes into he's not trying to make like a legacy. He just wants to be a cheeseburger. Because in that moment.
I understand that on such a deep level.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're saying.
When you have a cheeseburger that's really good, it's like for that moment, that cheeseburger is the best thing you've ever had.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel. I want to just be, when you are with me or have me, not in that way, just when you have my content or something, I just want you to enjoy it right then. Whether you remember it years down the road or you tell your kids, like, this video was funny, I don't care. I want to be in that moment to where I'm your cheeseburger. And that's what it's called, Cheeseburger. For this little bit, he just wants to be your cheeseburger. You're like the only thing you're focused on and the best thing you've ever had for that moment.
It raises a really interesting point or establishes like a way to have a conversation about what do you think about leaving a legacy?
Yeah.
You know? And like, I have never been one to be worried about that. Like, it's so much more important to me to be in the moment.
Yeah.
And to do something good that does. Sorry, dude.
You're good.
Just almost not, Scary
I just shot
Perry.
the rest of my drink there.
Scary Perry's just knocking your teeth out, apparently, too. But just being good within your own little bubble.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not to say that, like, I don't want to have an impact on the world at large, or I don't want to do something that doesn't have any kind of notice is not really the word that I want to use here, but like I just want to do something important.
Yeah.
I guess. But at the same time, I do want to stay in my lane.
Yeah.
You know, like I do want to just kind of keep on keeping on, because having done that for so long, it's worked out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still in a good position. I'm still, you know, well adjusted and everything.
If each week you make somebody's moment that good for that moment, and you do it like once a week, I think that's just as good as being like, well, they're gone. Like, I remember when that was so fun. But if you're consistently like, you're this person's cheeseburger for the day, that's amazing. I love that.
Small moments build up to big memories.
Yeah. Yeah. So
put that on a bumper sticker.
Put that on a bumper sticker. Put it on a shirt.
Put it on your bumper sticker.
Stop. I don't want Scary Perry. What do you got?
I actually have a couple of books.
You are the bookiest person.
Well, that's just kind of that's the phase I'm going through.
I'm scary, but I'll
right
read
now.
Books.
I had a kind of a self-help book that I got through. It, not like overly self-helpy, but just kind of like, you know, those guideposts for living and everything. It's called The Swedish Art of Aging Exuberantly. Written by somebody who will...
Can you say that in English, please?
A book by somebody from Sweden who's telling you to live life to the fullest.
Okay, got
it. Life wisdom from someone who will probably, in parentheses, die before you.
Gotcha. Oh, wow.
This lady's 80 years old. I mean, I don't mean to sound Scary Perry, but I kind of hope she dies before me. Like, I don't want to...
She knows how to do an audiobook?
Well, somebody else read it.
Oh, okay.
But she, you know, wrote it and everything. Not like groundbreaking or anything, but it does give that. I like hearing people's perspectives on living a good and positive life. You know?
Yeah.
Not that I like, it's not a political or socioeconomical thing. It's just like, I was saying, am I doing things that feel rewarding to me? But at the same time, like she does go into, it's by Margaret Magnuson. Margaret does go into, you know, you can still have a small impact here and there, making sure you're not leaving behind a bigger carbon footprint.
Yeah.
You know, like just taking care of the earth, things, not making, you know, life harder for your kids after you're gone.
Right.
You know, things like that.
Yeah.
And I think that I am kind of like pre-tuned to seek out and hear things. This is not something that other people don't do, but to, again, find confirmation bias.
Yeah.
You know, and just be like, oh, well, yeah, that's exactly something that I wanted to be a part of, or I wanted to, you know, leave behind or whatever.
Right.
But I do think that, you know, if you want to kind of understand my mentality or who I kind of position myself as, I think that this book is a really good indication of it. Same with Big Magic, which I recommended last week too. Overall, just like, you know, I'm very much the person that these authors are speaking to.
Yeah.
You know,
Their
in that
audience.
capacity.
Yeah.
I am their audience.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I also got through a novel this past week. It's called Truly Devious.
Truly, madly, deeply.
Yes. I wanna stand with you on a mountain. Anyway, this is the first book in the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. It's a mystery series.
Ooh.
It's really freaking good. There is a thing that I think a lot of people will resonate with, that you find something that you really get attached to, like Harry Potter,
Yeah.
right? And you go, well, I want the next Harry Potter. This is not magical in the way that Harry Potter is, and I'm speaking literally based on, the context of the books.
The theme, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a fantastical universe that these characters live in. But there are like character arcs and there are relationships that remind me so much of Harry Potter. And I mean, there was even a point where I was like, I have that same feeling.
Yeah.
Like I got that same kind of reaction, that visceral feeling of that I did when I was going through the Harry Potter books when I was growing up. So I'm excited that there are more books in this series too, and I can just kind of keep on going with it.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff, man. Such a good. I think technically too, it's considered YA, young adult. But who cares? Like sometimes
I don't care.
Sometimes
those are more entertaining than boring old people books.
Exactly. And I've read a couple of boring old people books recently, and some of them have been really good, and some of them have just been downright terrible.
Yeah.
Like fine, I'll talk about this real quick. There's a book. It's the first book in a series, and it's called A Court of Thorns and Roses. Excuse me. Horrible. Absolutely atrocious.
I'm already bored.
Book. No, it's
just by the title.
It's basically like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but worse.
Oh.
And so much more sexual.
Oh.
I mean, there is some like straight up fairy porn.
I'm a little more intrigued now.
They're gonna make a show about it on Hulu, or Amazon or whatever. Just wait until it comes out.
Hentai style?
No.
Oh, never mind.
No. It's not good.
Okay.
It's boring. It's severely underbaked. It's just anyway. That's the show. Unless you have another tips and bits.
I have been listening to a new album from SZA.
Oh, how is it?
SOS. Oh my goodness.
I've heard great things about it. I haven't had the chance to get into it yet.
Yeah. So 100% honesty. You all know kind of like what I like: metal, hardcore. I like rap and all this stuff. But Addison and April started listening to it, and so it would be on like it would. She would put it on when I take her to school and stuff. And I'm like, man, this is really good. And I will say, like, also, if you followed, you know that I'm like a fan of like Paramore. I just love, and this is nothing like my wife knows this, so it's not like I'm trying to be like, oh, like
I'm gonna go drop him a $5 and see if he'll play Misery Business.
But I love.
This is still one of the funniest.
I
things
love
I've ever
female
said.
voices. Like,
yeah, 100%
I do too.
Honesty. I do too.
I love female voices, and SZA has such a great voice, and she has made an album, and she's used titles from movies. She's got a music video and a song called Kill Bill, which is nice. It's so good.
Real nice.
She's got a song called Seek and Destroy, which I love.
It's a great song.
I've been listening to that album, and I just highly recommend it. SZA, SOS.
I think it's really funny and kind of cool when dads hear the music that their kids are listening to and go, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Some stuff I'm like, I don't like that at all. But this is like, and she is like not like embarrassed about it. She's like, do you want to listen to some SZA on the way to school? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And like, she's not like, oh my God, my dad likes the album I like. Like, she just like, she gets it. Like, she understands
it's a joint experience.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, not that he loves the entire catalog, but it took my dad a while to appreciate and like John Mayer. And it wasn't until Born and Raised, which came out in 2012, for him to really kind of latch on to his musical abilities and who he is as an artist. And
who is this great guitar player, but he's kind of like weird guy. Like, he's kind of like,
hey,
the boy band dude.
You had a moment last year where you heard a song by John Mayer. You didn't know who it was.
Well, I did.
And you went, this is a really good song.
Yeah, it was on a TV show. It was on the Bear.
You still liked it, and you still.
I didn't say nothing was wrong with it.
Yeah, I know.
I was putting
saying,
myself in the dad mode. Like, oh, who is this? He's so good, but like why is he got his shirt off, or why is he doing this and stuff?
He didn't have his shirt off.
Well, I mean, he does. He's had his. I've seen.
It's been a long time though.
But I'm just saying
that was a dark period.
I love how you're defending John Mayer.
I'm just saying,
I'm not even mad at him. I'm just saying.
Well, the man's he's grown.
He's got good shoes.
He's got great shoes. He's got great watches too.
Yeah, big sneakerhead.
Have you seen the one that he did recently that was based off of a little like the colors of a little 80s Casio keyboard?
I haven't.
I'll have to show it to you after we're done. But before we do that, we got to do something else, right?
Yeah.
The segue is incredible.
I mean, if you want a little keyboard, what?
Go to eBay.
Go to eBay. And if you lose the bid, you can go to patreon.com and spend $1.
We'll bid on your behalf.
You can spend $1 to support us, or you can throw in $5 and you can get a bunch of bonus content. Patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast. We're throwing up bonus stuff on there. You get right now Mutant Madness, where Perry is training to get ready for Mat Madness. Oh, that rules.
Right?
Freaking G-Shock?
Yeah.
I like that.
That's super cool, dude.
If you want to get a G-Shock,
I'll put a picture up.
Yeah, you can not go to patreon.com because we don't sell G-Shocks. But patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast for as little as $1 a month. $5, like I said, you get bonus stuff. Mutant Madness right now. We're going to come back with Pours from the Floor. We're just crazy stuff. It's the best thing you can do. It's the greatest value. It costs less than a Starbucks coffee.
And that's a really good way of putting it. But also, too, we're getting very close to announcing details for This Is My Bourbon Weekend 2023. That's going to be the first place that you hear about.
And the first chance you get to get stuff.
Yes, exactly. If we do barrel picks,
VIP
I
stuff.
I got to talk to you about some barrel pick stuff here soon, too. But there's lots of just very inclusive things that happen over at Patreon.
Yeah.
That if you enjoy this show and you want to be more of a part of everything that we do, that is the best place for you to.
If you
go
always
and
wonder how
engage.
Perry edits so good and what did something change there for a second? I thought I heard something, but no, that was a good edit. If you want to hear the uncut episode, you can go to patreon.com.
Look at that keyboard.
Oh, that rules.
Isn't that so cool, though?
That is cool.
He's a good designer, too.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Why are your pants getting freaking John Mayer talk, man? Always happens this way. If you want to send us an email, you can send an email to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. If you want us to review something, you want to ask us to pair something, you just want to ask a question, send an email. If you want to get some merch, it's bourbonshop.threadless.com. Perry's got some designs up there. He's always thinking of new stuff, but that's the best way to get some 10-bit merch. If you want to leave a message, we talked about it earlier on the Barrel Ring segment, 859-428-8253. Leave a message. We'll play it. We'll reply to you. You're on the podcast. Simple as that.
Hey.
If you want to follow us on social media, at MyBourbonPod, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's a Facebook group. This is My Bourbon Podcast Facebook group. Join that. We're doing stuff on there all the time. If you want to follow Perry at his personal stuff, PRitter1792. You want to follow me at Whiskey Mutant, putting up some new reels and trying to do some more stuff on there. Go follow me at Whiskey Mutant. Go to YouTube. This is My Bourbon Podcast on YouTube. We put this video version out on there for you. If you want to see us, you want to look at us. If you want to watch Perry go live every Thursday, he does that. 8 o'clock, Thursday nights. He's on there. Sometimes I'm on there. Sometimes he's sick and he's not on there, but very rarely.
Oh, I'd still...
He still gets on there, but it's like him going...
Last night, I was so creatively bankrupt. I was like, I have no idea what to do for this stream.
But people show up.
And it still worked great.
It does. It always
worked
does.
out so well.
It always does.
I actually cracked that Parker's last night, and I told everybody to keep it a secret from you because I wanted to surprise you.
You son of a...
It's better if you don't know.
I know, Scary Perry. Get out of here. If you want to leave a review, go leave a review on Apple. You can leave a rating on Spotify. We're doing a giveaway right now where you leave a review and you're into a drawing to win some pairings, some pours, and a Zoom tasting. So you can do that. Do we got some new ones?
We got three
okay.
new reviews this week. This first one comes from Loyaj? Loyaj? Yeah, Loyaj. 5 stars. 3rd time's the ... Needed a third bourbon podcast to listen to, and this one is the charm.
That makes me feel so good.
Isn't that great? Love the banter and commentary. Easy listening. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Loyash. Bourbon Advocate with the 5-star review. Not Whiskey Advocate, Bourbon Advocate.
I'm down with that.
Listened to all 263.
Damn.
Not sure why I haven't reviewed after listening to all 263 episodes. I knew early on this is an excellent podcast. Down-to-earth people authentically talking about and connecting over bourbon. Cheers, subscribe, and enjoy.
Enjoy, and we enjoy you.
Thank you, Bourbon Advocate. And last but not least, 5 stars from Dismal Dave.
Dismal Dave!
A lot of fun. I just started listening recently. Perry and Eric are a blast to listen to. They deliver news and opinions in a fun way. It's like hanging out and talking bourbon with 2 old friends.
That's what I'm talking about.
The occasional interviews with bourbon industry insiders are thoughtful and interesting. I highly recommend this podcast.
Well, Dismal Dave, I highly recommend you.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We had a Patreon change too.
Oh,
Mr.
I've heard about this.
Matthew Bergmayer upped to the $20 a month Patreon tier.
Matthew. We talked about this, me and Matthew.
You and Matt did? Yeah. I want to let you know too. I think that Todd forgot about when you saw him making bread. Because he messaged me and said, I definitely wasn't that Todd Cooper. And I said, no, it definitely was you.
See, Todd.
So if you think that
Todd is very polite, he doesn't want to take any credit.
He is. But I'm just saying, if you think that this is not about you, it is about you.
It is about you.
But it's not. But it is.
It is.
It is.
It is to me.
Look, people just don't understand the bit sometimes, okay?
Matthew does.
Matthew gets it.
You know where me and Matthew are? We're at Buffalo Wild Wings. What? You don't like Buffalo Wild Wings?
No, I actually love Buffalo Wild Wings.
And he was going for the hottest challenge. He was going to eat the hottest ones. And I said,
what is it? What do they call it? The blazing?
I said, Matthew, don't do it. But then I said, do you have intestinal problems? I said, because I have Crohn's disease. And I'm always looking out for somebody.
This show has gotten so visual.
I was like, are you okay to do this? And he's like, yes, but I need your support. And I said, you know what, Matthew? If you want my support, give me your support. He was like, I'm a Patreon owner. And I was like, Matthew, you are going for nuclear level right now. And he's like, you know what? You're right. You guys are nuclear. I'm going to up my Patreon if you stay here and you help me get through this. So I did. So I was the guy that poured milk into Matthew's mouth while he was eating the hot wings to cool him down. And he made it through and he got a full free meal from Buffalo Wild Wings. They said they had never seen anybody like Matthew. They didn't take the little Polaroid picture and put on the wall. Dude, they put the poster printout. He's on the menu. I love
the fact that you can go and do this challenge that will just destroy you internally. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you a free burger.
That's how things work.
It shouldn't be.
It is.
They should pay for your hospital stay.
This is America. This is how we do things. He's
Don't
on
catch you sleeping now?
He's on the menu. He's on the back of the menu.
Oh, he is now.
Yeah.
Is he? Wow.
Yeah.
Just in Kentucky or
where's he
everywhere?
From? Where's he from?
Crap.
Yeah, he's from here. He was down on Man of War.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the one we were at. Oh, maybe it was the one downtown. No, Man of War, definitely Man of War.
Downtown.
Well, on the way to downtown. There's one down there.
From where?
Going downtown from St. Joe, you go down. There's one on the right. It's on that little,
on Harrodsburg.
yeah, coming
Right?
off Harrisburg,
Yeah.
coming straight down past Ernie's, going on down.
My brother used to live over there.
Well,
They go there for whatever it was, like 50-cent wing night.
Heck yeah.
And just drink a bunch of beer.
thanks, Matthew.
Thanks, Matthew. And thank you so much for listening to this week's episode and getting all the way through it. Next week.
Uh-oh. Pete is Pete. No, Pete, not you. Get out of here.
Pete. We got the return of a special.
This is my first episode with him.
Long-time guest. And I'm not even going to tell you who it is.
He made you who you are. Thanks for listening to this week. I'm Eric.
I'm Scary Perry.
No! You. I don't like it.
And this is my bourbon box.
Stop it. Do it the right way. I'm not leaving until you do it the right way. Can't do this.
You were the one that interrupted me.
I know, but I'm just saying.
We'll see you guys next week. Until then, I'm Perry.
I'm Eric again.
And this is my bourbon podcast.